it's Jen. I'm a fiber artist living in Tucson, Arizona, and today we are going to get up to a little bit of spinning. You might recognize this wool bat from a previous diary episode, and if not, I will link that one below. But this is the yarn I'm preparing to spin. Actually, this is just a little 2-ply sample I whipped up just to see how the fiber was looking. I'm actually thinking that I'm going to ply this with a thread. These were some options I was looking at. My plan is to spin a yarn that has a ripple effect that's almost a little reminiscent of a boucle. But to do that, I will need my spinning wheel. And to give you a tour of my spinning wheel, I'm going to need a pointer. Now that I have my handy dandy pointer, I can show you my spinning wheel. This is a Louette S10 DT. Over here you have the Lazy Kate, and right now it's holding 2 extra bobbins. DT stands for double treadle, and these are the treadles. This is called the footman. It connects the treadles to the wheel, and of course this is the wheel. Right here is the drive band, which connects the wheel to the bobbin. Right up front we have the flyer orifice through which we will be feeding our wool. There is also a leather brake strap. Let's switch up our angles for a moment. This bar here is referred to as the mother of all. It supports the flyer, and you can see that my little sheep is moving the flyer. The flyer has yarn guides, and it also holds our bobbin. So that's my wheel, but before we start spinning, I really want to go outside. It rained all night long last night, and I can't tell you how unusual that is for Tucson. It feels like a moral imperative to go outside and explore this wet world. Flowers from the Texas sage are floating to the ground like purple snow. Look, we have puddles, actual puddles. I'm just visiting some of my favorite neighborhood plants. This is called a bunny ear cactus. It's part of the prickly pear family. And here we have the Mexican bird of paradise. I'm sure you're familiar with this one. I practically did a back bend to get this entire fellow on camera. The mighty saguaro. Of course, there's a jet flying by right now, but if you listen carefully, you can also hear a frog enjoying the puddles. Did you hear it? I'm walking along the Rio River right now because after rain, it's fun to come out and see if there is actual water flowing through what is typically a dry riverbed. You can see I'm about to walk under a bridge. I truly live in a place that is this combination of nature and city life, and I really enjoy both. In fact, this is not just an ordinary bridge. This bridge is actually home to an estimated over 7,000 bats, most of which are Mexican free-tailed bats. You can kind of hear them squeaking as you walk under the bridge. These bats eat up to 110 pounds worth of insects every night. During the day, they are nesting in the cracks between the concrete beams. But at sunset, people actually gather under the bridge just to watch the bats fly. Just as the sun kisses the horizon, thousands upon thousands of bats depart for their nightly hunt. I'm glad I had this footage on my phone because I really wanted you to see the night sky filling with these amazing bats. I also wanted to show you this metal sculpture above the bridge, paying homage to the bats. One of the things I love about Tucson is whenever there's an opportunity to add a little bit of art, Tucsonians will take it. I kept walking for a bit on my search for water in the river, and I think this is probably the most I'm going to find today. And actually, it's starting to rain again, so I think I'm going to head back in and start my spinning. I'm starting off by throwing on some shoes just to give me a little more traction. I also threw on some press-on nails. I split one of my thumbnails a couple of months ago, and it is still growing out and healing. So you don't have to look at it, so I don't have to be self-conscious about it. I put on these cute little nails that of course have cacti on them. Here is our wool bat, and I am still loving these wool bats. I just love all of the color. Here is a sample of the yarn that I'm looking to create. I just did a little practice run plying it with the thread. I might actually go with a more sparkly thread when I apply this one, but this is the vibe I'm going for. So I'm just going to start by separating out a length from my wool bat. And then what I like to do is I like to work my way down, and I'm not trying to pull out these fibers so much as I'm just loosening them up and making sure that they feel sort of even throughout the length of the section that I've pulled off. There aren't any little areas that's really where maybe some wool it feels a little more thick to me. I just want it all to be about the same thickness and really loosen up those fibers so that they'll be easy for me to draft. I'm always very tempted to start off by apologizing for being rusty when it comes to sharing any of my hobbies besides crochet. Crochet is the one thing I've done nonstop for decades, but I have a lot of other beloved hobbies that I've had to at times put on the back burner just because it was hard to really be devoted to them and do the other things that I just needed to do in my everyday life. I'm very grateful to be able to say that I am now retired from the work that I used to do, and I have more time in each and every day to devote to the things that I love and to be able to come and share them with you. I think we all have periods in our life where we have to sometimes put things on the back burner, and that's always hard to do. And, and then it's hard to come back because you almost feel like you're beginning again. Except for I will say that sitting at the spinning wheel feels a lot like riding a bike. It just comes back to you, and it feels so good to kind of resume something that you love. So cheers to all of the beginners out there, or the ones like me who are beginning again and getting back to our crafts. I definitely feel like I'm still warming up here. The default weight of yarn that I'm used to spinning is something that tends to be a little bit more on the fine side because I'm used to spinning 2 or 3 singles and then plying them together. But this time I'm working towards getting a singles yarn that is closer to a medium weight. So just getting my fingers to allow a little more wool through and get a heavier weight yarn going is taking a little bit of doing for me. It's like my muscle memory wants to default to spinning a finer thread. So I am struggling a little bit with that. I also decided to shift the ratio I'm spinning just so I can slow things down and have a little more control. The standard Louette bobbin comes with 3 ratios, so for every revolution of the large wheel, the bobbin can rotate either 10.5 times, 7.5 times, or 5.5 times. I had my bobbin set at the medium speed, but I decided to change it up to the slower speed, so my bobbin is rotating 5.5 times for every time the large wheel goes around. As you can see, the bobbin and the flyer are connected, so this means less twist going into my wool with each rotation of the large wheel. My goal is just to be patient with myself, take my time, and I know I'm going to get back into that spinning flow. I have about 8 ounces of this wool to spin, so we could literally be here all day. I will not do that to you. I will make sure that I film when I get to the plying process so you can see how that goes and also get a look at the finished yarn. I enjoy sharing a little bit of my life behind the scenes, so let's get to know each other in the comments. Are you a spinner too? What hobbies are you coming back to, maybe after a little bit of a break? Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.